Welcome back to week 2 NAO Show. We got Mike Deasy and we got Marky Mark on location in Philadelphia. What have you? What's up, guys? Welcome to week 2.
What's going on, buddy?
Welcome.
All right. Welcome back to the show. I know you all have been waiting desperately for our second show. I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of week 1. Airgate, that's me. I won in a narrow nail biter for with Silly Dilly. Skippy Dog put it to Jay Hill. We also have the other guy, my nemesis, Steely. How did he win? Beat the underdogs. A close matchup with my two fellow co-hosts today, with Marky Mark and Mike Deasy. Marky Mark brought it out. Then the matchup of the week, 2 highest scores. Goofy beat defenses win championships. Wow. 136 points and he still loses. Good job, A-Bomb.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Marky Mark, shoot it. Let's do it.
Okay, yeah. We're going to start a new segment this week. This is called the Mr. Miyagi Ass Waxing of the Week. We'll give this out every week to the lowest scoring team and find out who got a shine on that behind. So this week, the dubious honor goes to Silly Spicy Biscuits, a.k.a. Jay Hill, who lost a barn burner to Skippy Dogs, 130.20 to 90.50. Whopping difference of 39.7 points there. I'm not going to be too hard on Josh, man, because he got bitten on that newly shined hind parts by the injury bug. He lost Cortland Sutton, and Golden Tate before he ever got to put him in the lineup. So I know they would have probably been in there. So that was a big hit for him. So he was already scrambling from the beginning. Then Marlon Mack goes down with an Achilles injury, done for the season, and that's kind of a double whammy for Josh because he's a Colts fan, and now he doesn't have him to put in that lineup for the rest of the year. And
Let's go, Hines. Let's go, Hines.
Shame. It's a shame for Marlon Mack, man. I hate it for him. He did get him 7.1 points before he went out, so at least he got something there. But and then his starting quarterback, Carson Wentz, dude was sacked 8 times, man. 8 times. He's still waking up in the middle of the night hearing footsteps. Poor dude. I mean,
I was in the city of brotherly love, knowing that they just got demolished.
Yeah. Funny aside, so I'm driving into Philly, and I get in here around 4:00 when the early games are getting over, and I go to a place on the river. I go and we sit outside and have beers and food, and nice little town. And the people were just like dejected, heads hanging. It was pretty quiet, and I was like, I think Philly must have lost. So finally got the details on the game after I stopped driving and got to check out Sleeper for a little while. So, that Philly O-line, man, those 2 injuries. And I'm kind of wondering, is it the injuries for Philly, or is Washington really that good? I'm kind of hoping it's the Philly line because, Cowboys got to face that Washington defensive line twice too, So we could be telling a similar story about my Cowboys, and then he gets Saquon on Monday night, hoping he'll get a big score, and Saquon looked like
a real big score, big, worth it.
Half a yard of carry.
Yeah, I thought it was maybe Kalen Ballage had been picked up by the Giants. It was pretty horrible. He salvaged it a little bit with some passing work, receiving work, but it just and he had Cooper. Cooper had 14 targets. Usually, that's a recipe for success, but Cooper only went 10 for 81, no touchdowns. So it just started bad for Josh with the injuries, and it just got worse from there. A lot of underachievers. So one of those weeks we've all had. So I'm not going to be too hard on him. On the other side, Mike, Skippy Dogs, he had some pretty solid performances from guys like Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry, Kelsey. They put up decent numbers. And then Thielen just smashed. Thielen had 28 points, and
So
kind of carried him.
Kind of off that idea, looking at Skippy Dogs here, with Le'Veon Bell going out, what do we think is going to be the next guy up in New York?
Who do you think? I know.
Well, I mean, I got Frank Gore. He's the old bell cow of 4 teams, probably. I don't know.
He's the old cow. He's the old cow, all right.
Does he still have it in the tank?
I don't know. Hey, it's amazing he's still out there.
Though.
Yeah. That's a good point. I did note that Bell got injured. He got him some points before he went out, and it was funny that I think Bell tweeted nothing wrong with my hamstrings, and now he's on IR.
Yeah.
Something wrong with your hamstrings, evidently.
False news.
Unless Gase just really doesn't like him so much that he's like, yeah, we're going to put you on IR for a while. But then, even Skippy Dogs defense, the Pats did pretty well against Miami. And I gave him a hard time for picking them kind of early in the draft. They showed out this week. That was against the Dolphins, so we'll see how they do this week against the Seahawks. I don't think they'll do as well this week, but good win for Skippy Dogs, and he's up there towards the top of the rankings. And poor Josh has got to make up some ground. So,
hey, Mike, as a Dallas fan, how do you like starting Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb on the same night, opening night?
I mean, if we really talking about how many 1,000-yard receivers can there be in Dallas, if you've got 2 of them, I mean, I tried not to start as many Cowboys as that, but I'm superstitious about it ever since I drafted Romo and then he broke his collarbone. But
which time?
Yeah.
It'd be like a Groundhog Day scenario there with Romo, man. Poor guy. Yeah, CD looked pretty good.
CD looked good, yeah.
I was pretty impressed. It was not a great game for us, but the future's bright with CD, it looks like,
He had more targets than Gallup, actually.
Yeah.
Gallup had that huge offensive pass interference call, but
don't
that's for another.
All right.
For another.
Before I get the Dallas fans saying what pass interference is,
we'll abstain.
Next topic.
We'll abstain, but
That's caught it.
Oh, sugar.
All right, our next topic is going to be surprise player of the week. We're each going to pick one person that we either think underperformed or overperformed or is right there at the ADP. Mike, I'm going to have you go ahead first.
This one I went back and forth on. I tried to keep it toward fantasy, but I had to watch 16 Cleveland games last year, and Baker Mayfield is my pick because he's the same player. He progressed exactly 0. And if you want to talk about it in fantasy, how much that affects a lot of the players on that team.
Oh, man, big.
I mean, you're talking Landry, Odell Beckham, Chubb, Hunt. There's a lot of guys that Baker Mayfield's lack of progression at all is starting to affect. And now there's all the trade rumors with Odell. Now the locker room is already in chaos before we're in week 2 because Baker Mayfield is the 2019 just doing it all over again. It was just kind of surprising. Stefanski was supposed to help maybe, but clearly they forgot about progressing Baker Mayfield in the offseason.
I didn't get to watch a lot of ball since I was driving on Sunday. Was the line pretty good? Do you think it was the line or was it just Baker?
Their offense wasn't great as a whole, that's for sure. It wasn't just on Baker Mayfield, but there was just – maybe it's the front office again. I've had to unfortunately watch years of Cleveland games, and they don't really look much different. But it's just the same kind of Baker Mayfield as last year. He'll panic and scramble. If he scrambles to his left, he'll probably get sacked. Scrambles to his right, he'll chuck it, probably for an interception. It's just the same. And it was a surprise. Everyone was sort of excited about the Browns and Baker again. And here we are.
I can really jump in on that surprise because I ate the Cheerios last year and I jumped in on the Cleveland bandwagon. And this year, my first dynasty, I took Baker Mayfield. Well, I didn't take Baker Mayfield. I actually traded for him, which even adds insult to injury.
He was drafted in the 10th round at the 10th spot, actually, this year.
And I got him from Marky Mark.
Mm-hmm.
That would be me.
And I mean, when I traded for him, I knew he wasn't going to be a week 1 starter over my boy Deshaun. Saying a prayer for him against freaking Baltimore this week, but I really think he's missing something, and I thought the coaching staff was going to go ahead and make him more fantasy relevant. And then if he goes better, I was thinking Landry, Hooper, OBJ, they all get better fantasy-wise. If Baker Mayfield will calm down and look what he's being given and be okay with the check down, I think his fantasy will go up significantly because I'll open up Landry, OBJ. I saw him in a post interview, and he was all about his quarterback. He said it's a team. It was something completely different than I'm used to from OBJ. Usually he's the throw the blame at everybody else but him, but he was very team-oriented in his comments. I think if he can calm down, he has some upside. But, yeah, I totally agree with you there, Mike.
I wouldn't panic too much yet because it was Baltimore, which is good defense. And
they beat Baltimore last year once. So.
Yeah, they got Cincinnati this week. Week 1, everything else going on. Let's see what happens. I understand. I mean, you're looking at it like nothing's changed, and I get that. But I'm gonna give it another week and see how they regroup against Cincinnati this week. And I tell you what I found interesting in that game was that Chubb just disappeared in it, and Hunt was the guy. And I'm kind of seeing where there could be Hunt games, there could be Chubb games. So the game script was bad, and it seemed like Hunt was the guy, If I'm a Chubb owner, I'm a little bit concerned about games that they may be behind in because, Hunt's got the pass receiving skills, and he got more carries, and he had a better game.
I think I said that to Sean because he has Chubb in another league about Chubb looked like exactly what you drafted him at, and from last year, I think Kareem Hunt looked better.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, they paid him too, so he's not going anywhere. So we got, anybody that owns either one has got to deal with that timeshare. But what stuck out to me was it looks like there's going to be, if the game script is bad, it's going to be Hunt time, not Chubb. Mm-hmm. So you got to put Chubb in there when you feel like they got a good chance of, hanging in the game or winning the game. Just a quick observation there.
All right, Mark, go ahead and give us your surprise of the week.
Okay, well, my surprise is Adrian Peterson.
Ooh.
So AP just qualified for AARP. And Washington keeps him around for the whole camp. They cut him.
Right at the end.
The dude gets on a plane, lands in Detroit. Matt Stafford puts the ball in his belly and says, "Run, Adrian, run." It's like, and he did 14 times for 93 yards, I mean.
Woo, still got it.
When they cut him, I thought he's probably done. And then Detroit picks him up, and you're thinking, Patricia, you never know what the hell he's going to do. And so here he goes, 14 carries, 93 yards. He had 3 catches for 21 yards, 114 yards total. The paint wasn't dry on his name on the locker, I mean, so that was my big surprise. The guy's still doing it. I love it, man. Chalk one up for the old guys, Just a quick aside on that game because I got to tout my guy. I've got Quentin Cephas on 2 taxi squads, and doing prep for the drafts, studying players this year for the rookie drafts. I just kept seeing that this guy. They kept, he's slow. He doesn't have a fast 40 time. He's not agile. He's got burst, and he runs good routes. Everybody just kept saying the guy gets open. Scouts, coaches, even the players that played against him say the guy gets open. And so I just stashed him, thinking it'd be interesting to see if that's true in the NFL, because a lot of times a guy that can run good routes can do something in the NFL. The dude had 10 targets, man, with Galladay out. he led the team in targets. And so that's something for a rookie in his first game. And Stafford's looking his way 10 times. Now he only got 3 catches for 43 yards. But I thought that was pretty interesting. That was a big surprise along with AP. So I kind of have a duel there.
With AP being on your bench there, Mike Deasy, how you feeling? Where you at with him?
Like I said, I'm glad I have him, but I don't know if I have the guts to start him.
I don't think I would either.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in that backfield. There's a lot of superstition about the Lions' backfield and everything. Still didn't top 100 yards.
It's maddening, man.
Yeah, I'm like, he'll be a great week 10 bye week fill-in because my week 10 is the worst I've ever seen. But other than that, I don't know if I have the guts. It was a great game by him, though. I'm happy to see him doing well again.
My surprise of the week is going to be Austin Ekeler. I know he didn't have a great game. He had 6 points, I think it was. And what I like about this is not because he didn't do so well, is because of what you did with the Ekeler trade, Mike Deasy. I think you moved Dalvin Cook for Ekeler and 2 first-round picks, and you moved those 2 first-round picks to get Mixon, and then turned around and got Slayton and Zeke. I think having Ekeler on the team, it really it's going to benefit you fully later on. I don't think he's going to have a bad week again. It's kind of still up in the air if Tyrod Taylor can check the ball 5 yards to Ekeler, but we'll see. I think he's going to have upside. I think he has real upside all the rest of the year.
Yeah, I obviously I'm not sure he repeats last year without Phillip Rivers. I think that's all Phillip Rivers could do anymore because he's just doing it now in Indy. But maybe they don't dump it off to him as much. But the 19 attempts is what I'm focused on. He only had, like you said, 9.2 fantasy points this week, but 19 attempts of rushing. I'm liking that. He did fine without Melvin Gordon the first few weeks last year. That's sort of what I was looking for again. I think they got to figure out life without Phillip Rivers there for the first time in a very long time. But I think they're going to start to figure out that Eckler's the guy to do it, and they'll get there. I'm not too worried about him yet, although the Kansas City matchup in week 2 is not ideal.
It could be more of an Ekeler game for Kansas City, but that one target was kind of crazy.
Yeah, the one target is concerning, yeah.
And if you look at the targets, he was getting the ball too. He was targeting the wide receivers a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
Looking towards Williams and Keenan Allen, and really not paying much attention to the running backs. I guess that'll be a game plan kind of thing, and we'll have to see how it goes. But that was kind of shocking to see him only get 1 target in the whole game.
Yeah,
as good as he is.
I expect him to be behind this week against Kansas City. Probably behind early and quick. So we'll see what the passing game does there.
Yeah.
Question: Ekeler, fantasy-wise, who's the best quarterback in LA?
Yeah.
If you got Ekeler on your team, who do you want tossing him the rock? Tyrod. You said Tyrod? He threw it 1 time.
Dude, so you're gonna put Herbert in there?
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but
yeah, Herbert's not ready, man.
I think he's got some upside. Eventually, he'll be the starter there.
I mean, they drafted him high, so if they're in the tank by midseason, we'll see Herbert. But I kind of feel about Herbert like I do Drew Lock. I think there's some things there that are going to be hard to coach out, So
I did have to watch a lot of Cleveland games, if you remember that conversation. So I know what Tyrod Taylor can't do.
Yeah.
Shout out to Locke, winning me the first week. Can't hit a broadside of a barn. Thank you, Locke. Woo!
I didn't see that game either. I really didn't see much at all. I saw the Cowboys debacle, and that was it. It was
about play 3. It was a butt-puckering moment for me and Silly Dilly. Man.
Talking about Judy?
Yeah, Judy. Judy had a 15-yard bomb. I thought it was over then. Woo, he Block overthrew him by 5 yards. I was so happy.
That's Drew Lock. That's what I know about Drew. And I think, getting back to the Chargers, I feel like Herbert's got a lot of that same kind of qualities, strong arm and not a lot of accuracy, panics in the pocket. So, to me, Tyrod's the guy they should get in there. He's not nothing to get excited about, but I like him over Herbert for sure.
Yeah. As a Ekeler owner right now, I'd be excited about the rookie coming in and panic checking down to their running back the entire game, though.
That's what I was kind of getting at. I think if Herbert comes in, I think Ekeler becomes his number one dump off, and it's going to be read his first read, and if it's not there, just throw it to Ekeler, because we all know if he gets the targets, he's going to be able to catch it and make moves. And fantasy-wise, that puts, I think, Herbert in the quarterback position. Eckler's value actually goes up.
It was concerning as having Ekeler, but I'm not worried yet. I'm not in panic mode. I'm not throwing him on the trade block already.
First week trade block. Woo! All right, moving to the third and final topic, we're going to do our matchups of the week. We're going to go ahead and shoot it to Mark. What's your matchup of the week this week, Mark?
All righty. Well, I've got I'm looking at defenses wins championships against the Skippy Dogs. So that's Aaron and Mike. So looking down over right now, it's a pretty close one. Aaron actually made a couple of moves since I did my show prep, and I had to pivot a little bit. Thank you, Aaron, for that. Set your lineups, guys, on like Wednesday morning.
Yeah.
And then just leave them till we're done with the show, and then you can mess with them Thursday if you want to. But yeah, he's got he made a couple of changes, so he was favored by a few points, but now it's projection is 134.48 for Aaron, 133.94 for Skippy. So really, really tight one there. So Aaron's got Josh Allen, Nick Chubb, Kenyon Drake, Tyreek Hill, John Brown, Mark Andrews, and he's got Jonnu Smith in there as a flex, which is pretty interesting. He's bringing in another tight end, Raheem Mostert, and Marquise Brown with the Bills defense. And so just a quick cherry pick of some of his guys. You got Josh Allen in there, quarterback against Miami. I guess off the top of your head, you think that's probably a good matchup. He's got actually a lot going on. He had Singletary in there. He took him out. So he had 3 Bills going against Miami. He took Singletary out, and he put in Smith instead. But he's got the Bills defense. So, I think last year everybody was looking to start somebody against Miami. This year, I thought Miami was going to be one of those teams that starts to progress a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
They had all those draft picks and did a pretty good job there. They brought in my guy from the Cowboys, Byron Jones, who really had a good first game against the Patriots. They didn't do too well. It was Fitztragic, not Fitzmagic, because that guy, man, it's one or the other, right? It's either magic or tragic for that guy. So, so I don't know. I'm hoping that Miami is going to make that leap that I thought they might make, and it might not be as easy as it looks on paper, but he's got Josh Allen in there, who had a really good day passing last week. Mm-hmm. I've been down on him for his passing skills, and now I'm saying it was the Jets, so I'm not getting too excited yet. Let's see him do it against somebody decent. He had a good day against the Jets, so
Well, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. If you got something, throw it in there, buddy.
You said someone decent, and then you say Miami Dolphins. I can't put those 2 words in the same sentence, even if I was high on Miami Dolphins defense. My bold prediction this week is that Josh Allen runs in for 2 touchdowns and throws for another one.
All
3
right.
touchdowns, Josh Allen this week, Miami Dolphins.
And
put it on the board.
And the board gets bigger.
Man, that's why he benched Singletary right there.
Yeah. So yeah, he's I like Allen could do good. He's got Mark Andrews, great tight end, man. He's probably, I already kind of think of him in that top tier. I think after this season, if he keeps doing what he's doing, he's going to be that tier 1 tight end next year in the draft. We won't get him cheap anymore. We talked about Chubb. I think he'll have a comeback game against Cincinnati. Should be okay. Drake, I'm a little worried about. They got Drake. They got him projected for right at 17 points, and he split time with Edmonds last week, and the guy was in a walking boot, which kind of to me, to put him up there as one of your top 2 running backs. I'm just dubious. He was in a walking boot like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and he split time with Edmonds. So I don't think he's gonna get the upper points. He's gonna be, he's gonna be sharing time. I think, Mostert's a good start against the Jets. Looking over at Skippy, he's got Lamar Jackson going against Houston. He should be able to kill it. He with the Bell injury, he's got Ingram in there along with Henry. He's got Thielen again, T.Y. Hilton, Kelsey. For his flexes, he's got Marvin Jones, Allen Lazard, Allen Robinson. So I like the Allens this week because Allen, squeaky wheel gets the grease, right? So he's going to get more targets this week after all that went on. Lazard had a good game last week. He's got Detroit, good matchup this week. He snuck him into his lineup, so I think that's a good move there. I'm a little Derrick Henry. You see Jacksonville and you think that's a smash play, right? And everybody thinks about that 99-yard run where he broke 12 tackles, which means he broke a tackle on everyone on the team and then twice on one guy, right? But that was Jacksonville that was, out of the playoff hunt. Everybody's planning their vacations on the sideline, I think Jacksonville actually did pretty well against the Colts last week. So, again, not watching much ball last week and just looking at the numbers, they Colts only put up 88 yards. They got the best line in the NFL, arguably, 1 touchdown. And I'm just wondering, is Jacksonville, maybe it's game script, Rivers threw some picks, but is Jacksonville better than we think on defense, So Henry being up there at 18 points, maybe underachieves. But all in all, looking at this, I'm gonna call it for Skippy because I think looking at defense wins championships, looking at his roster, there's more likelihood of underachieving than there is on Skippy's. So I'm going to call a close one. I'm going to say Skippy gets this one, and Aaron gets another high point total and just misses out. He's going to be that guy that's an 0-2 down there looking up at 4 or 5 guys that have less points than him, and saying, where did it all go wrong? So that's my call.
All right, Mike, your matchup of the week.
Well, we kind of talked quite a bit about mine a little bit already, but I'm going to go Silly's Spicy Biscuit against Goofy, and mainly because it's the week 1 lowest scoring team versus the week 1 highest scoring team. The individual matchups, now that since we've already looked at it, Jonathan Taylor is the starting running back on Hill's team here, so we called that coming up. But yeah,
did he change that?
Yeah, I added that in.
Yeah, I thought he would.
But we kind of talked about most of these teams already, but I just want to see if was week 1 a fluke. I think Hill's roster looks a little bit better week 2. But can Goofy's team do it again? There was a lot of high scoring offense on his team last week. Just kind of keeping an eye on it. I think not just off the projections, but off some of the matchups, I think I'm still going to lean Team Goofy for week 2. But just kind of a fun one to watch, little fun one, just see if week 1 was real or not.
Yeah, I think Josh's roster just underachieved across the board. He's still got Saquon and Jonathan Taylor in there.
Yeah, Saquon's not going to do that again. So
no, and if the Colts don't run the ball, I'll go to Indy and kick some ass because give that ball to Jonathan Taylor, man. Use that line, shorten the game. Take it out of Rivers' hands a little bit. But those 2 players right there could go off to the tune of 50 points between the 2 of them. And kind of make your week. So
and Tom Brady thinks that Scotty Miller is insert scrappy white guy on the Patriots for the last 15 years. So
yeah, in
a PPR league, Scotty Miller is a great play.
Did he get Scotty in the lineup?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So the last time I looked at he didn't have he had an empty spot. He hadn't moved Taylor up, and I kind of thought he might put Scotty in there. So CD and got the CD and Cooper Stack again.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Zach Ertz, he still got Zach Ertz going.
Zach Ertz is tight end, yeah.
Yeah,
Which
yeah.
I think he'll be fine this year. They have that little rift going with Ertz and Philly. They're not terribly happy with each other, but it doesn't seem to be affecting Ertz on the field, so it's fine for now.
Josh has Fant on the bench. I kind of wondered if he might put him in there, but Ertz is a solid choice too. So on Goofy's side, I know he's got Kamara and
Kamara.
Ridley was a monster last week, and he's definitely got some good guys in there.
I think on Hill's behalf, I think Saquon is gonna have a chip on his shoulder this week, and I think Donnie Dimes is gonna get it to him. I think he's gonna break the 20-point mark. The sky's the limit against Chicago, I think.
He was still involved with the passing game, so I mean that's always the saving grace for Saquon, is that you can always just throw him the ball, try to get him out in space, But he should have a better day on the ground. He's going to come out there running hard after that pathetic performance, But that's good defense.
Has been dogging him all week on ESPN.
Yeah.
Well, my matchup of the week is my pick from last week is the underdogs versus Marky Mark's team, Baba O'Reilly's.
Baba O'Reilly's.
Baba O'Reilly's.
Baba O'Reilly's. Come on, let's get it right. That's a song. One of my favorite songs. Kind of a weird name, I know, but
I'm glad that Sanders is going to make your team this week. He's not going to get hurt. I think Campbell, he could be a diamond in the rough this week. I think with Hines and Phillip Rivers just spreading the ball out to everybody, it seems like everybody in the backfield had the same number of targets. I think Campbell is going to have 10 to 15 targets probably.
I'll settle for 10. I mean,
15 is he's going to catch all of them, but
15 is DeAndre Hopkins numbers,
Where I'm going to give it to the underdogs is A.J. Brown. He had 8 targets last week. He caught 6 of them. Wasn't able to make it into the end zone, I don't think.
His yak is way down from last season.
I think he's going to be the deciding factor. If A.J. Brown and everybody else stays the way they did last week, A.J. Brown is going to be the deciding factor on if the underdogs get their first win this week and Marky Mark gets his first loss this week. So I'm going to pick the underdogs again until they win. Come on, underdogs, get it this week.
All right, so.
In your rebuttal, Marky Mark, come on, this is your team here.
Yeah, no. Yeah, it's funny. I didn't. It's live radio here. You're going against me, so yeah. I took Kittle out because it's not looking good for Kittle. Got Hawkinson in there. I did put Sanders in. Not feeling warm and fuzzy about it because all he's got to do is hit that hamstring just right, and he's going to be out for a longer period, and that happens more often than not. So, but I definitely dealing with a few injuries myself, but I just went receiver heavy in this week, praying that Preston Williams, Anthony Miller, Christian Kirk, all those guys do a little something, get the high reception numbers, get me those half-point PPRs,
I think the game is going to be closer than the projection. The projection right now is 125-76 in your favor there, Marky Mark. And then underdogs got 119-45. I think when it all comes said and done, the underdogs are going to come in over that. I don't put them over 125 per se, but I think if they magically do hit that 125, 130 mark, they're going to be making you sweat a little bit on Sunday.
Yeah, looking at them, I just, again, like last week, I saw the flex positions. I think I got a little bit of advantage there. I feel like anyway, They got Dak Prescott, don't they? Is he their quarterback or?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he is.
Yeah. So
That could be a high-scoring game, though, against Atlanta.
yeah, I think Dak's definitely. I mean, he wasn't horrible last week, but I feel like he'll come back strong this week. He'll definitely.
I don't expect him to have the same week he did last week. I think everyone's kind of sleeping on LA. They have a chip on their shoulder. Definitely, Jared Goff has a chip on his shoulder for darn sure.
Yeah, we'll have to see. What do you guys think about Gibson there? You think he makes any kind of leap?
I hate to start him in another league, so I think this is the week that he blows up.
Because you started him. Is that your logic? Is that what we're going by now?
Yeah, they didn't quite use him as much as people were thinking. He had some serious preseason hype.
Yeah.
But
I think he's going to see more targets. I think he's going to be more of a checkoff guy. I mean, he did have 9 attempts rushing, but I think they're kind of saving him a little bit. Not saving him maybe so much as what you would think, but saving him in the fact that it's week 1, no preseason. This is going to be the guy for the whole season. We don't want to get him a hamstring, ankle. Thanks, Michael Thomas. So I think they're just trying to save him a little bit. I think this week they allow him to go off a little bit more.
Yeah, Barber had 2 touchdowns last week, and that's not always going to be the case. I think eventually those will start going toward Gibson.
You guys remember on chat with our league, I made the joke that Peyton Barber was the top dog for Washington. It really was a joke at the time, but look what happened. So, I mean, and you think about it, these guys all got to learn pass protection. I haven't seen any numbers on them yet for Gibson, but that's what gives them a slow start a lot of times is they don't trust him yet in pass protection, picking up blitzes and stuff. And Barber, he's been him around the block a few times, and he knows how to do that stuff. So he's going to probably be out there more often than not, until Gibson gets up to speed. So
definitely agree.
I'd use Gibson more as a pass catcher if I had him. Certainly wouldn't be wasting that draft pick. I'd be getting the ball out to him in space somewhere.
Yes, I think week 2 he's definitely going to be getting it. I think, like Mike Deasy said, he's going to see a definite uptick in points this week. Well, y'all, that's our show. I want to say thank you to Marky Mark on location in Philadelphia, Mike Deasy in Ohio. We'll see you next week. Steely, you suck. Later.